a sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raging voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, real night band.
All right, good evening. It is Tuesday night. Welcome to the first show of the night on this Tuesday. It is time for the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz. I'm Josh Rose,
November.
and that's Christopher Like, and I'm going to expand the screen out on him in a moment here because you're going to see what he has to say, and we're going to expand that out here in just a moment here. Yep, December Fat Boy. This is my December Fat Boy. This month is for my holiday. Now hop in that sleigh and wait your turn.
There you go.
As I said, this is the Blitz Southwest Florida edition. It's finally Turkey Month. We're in the month of November. It's hard to believe.
Best time of the year.
It's hard to believe we're almost done with 2025. This is actually my favorite stretch. Once we get to Halloween, we get to Thanksgiving, then we get to Christmas. And my birthday is somewhere thrown in there, and Chris's birthday is somewhere thrown in that stretch as well. So,
Yep.
so
Mine actually falls on Thanksgiving this year.
wow. Hey, there you go. Mine always falls on the winter solstice most years, which would be the 21st of December. Sometimes it's the 22nd of December. So in terms of when the winter solstice is. Boy, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? We're going to have to talk about this as we get through this, go through this month here, some of the Thanksgiving foods that we'll be eating and all that. But nonetheless, we're going to have football talk here. Tonight, the shows this week are going to be a little different. Obviously, you didn't see that we didn't have Drive the State at 6 o'clock, at 6:15 tonight. That's because there's no update to the FHSAA playoff rankings because we got several games actually in progress right now. Last night, we'll just go ahead and talk about these on the shows here. True North beat our Archbishop Carroll to win 1A-15. So that settled that district. The question that we had, we'll talk more about that on the South Florida edition of the Blitz on that one. But right now, we've got several games going on. We have over in 5A3, 5A3, Fleming Island is at Beachside. That game just kicked off about a half hour ago. Also kicked off about a half hour ago over in 3A8, I believe 3A8. Yeah, yes, 3A8. I want to see it's 3A8. It's or maybe 3A7. I'm sorry, 3A7 or 3A8. It's the one that it's O'Galley at Merritt Island, and then also over in 7A2 right now going on. The land is up 35-0 on Spruce Creek, which so we're in running clock territory with that game now. So
Surprise.
And that game picked up with 14-0, DeLand leading that game in the first quarter, and DeLand's just doing what DeLand does. That's done all season.
Yeah.
And they're gonna
Plumbing Island lead 3-0 against Beachside right now. So there you go.
Yeah. And Beachside struggled against Nice on Friday night. So this is Beachside's second game in like 5 days. So anyways, again, we're here with the Southwest Florida edition of Blitz coming up. We'll have Eric Sanders, the head coach at Palmetto. The Tigers. How about this? I believe it. My sheet says 8-1, but I want to say they're 9-1. Actually, I probably have something that's missing in my thing here, but I'll check it here in a moment here. But just to make sure that I've got it correct here, 9-1. Yes, they are 9-1. Palmetto 9-1 on the season. They have the only game they lost this year, Chris, was a 38-35 heartbreaker to Sarasota Riverview. So we'll talk to Coach Sanders here coming up here in just a few minutes around 7:40-ish. And but again, looking back on what was that, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of the Blitz Lines, and let's talk about. We'll also talk about the stuff that's come down with the FHSAA reclassification stuff, the decision that was made yesterday on the other shows here tonight. So we'll hold that for the next three shows. But recapping what we had, Southwest Florida, Fort Myers, Dunbar. Dunbar actually came out ahead. I believe Dunbar came out ahead on that game because from what I saw, Dunbar came out. Fort Myers season basically ends. I don't think Fort Myers is going to get a playoff bid unless they get it invited to the FIT in that 4A through 7A bracket. Spruce Creek took care of business at Gulf Coast. This is actually Spruce Creek's second game in 5 days too, by the way. So, and then same goes for DeLand. But Spruce Creek took care of Gulf Coast in that game. How about this? Manatee, Sarasota River. I'm just saying Manatee won, finished at 500, beat Sarasota Riverview. Sefner Christian knocked out of the SSA playoffs, out of door advances. Booker. Chris, not a surprise. Booker takes care of Sanford Seminole, puts that Sanford Seminole at 5-5. We'll talk more about that with Sanford Seminole tomorrow night on the Central Florida edition of the Blitz. And then Lely and South Fort Myers. Man, there's some these games that we're thinking. By the way, just an update as we can. I know a lot of people have interest in these games that are going on that are makeups. DeLand 42-0 fourth quarter over Spruce Creek. That'll settle that decision over there in 7-8-2. You there, Chris?
Not really a surprise there.
Oh, no, not really a surprise at all here. And as I see, Emery is there in the chat here. And I know Mark Cannon is lurking around watching, may not be commenting as much tonight. Got some stuff going on. But B Bean on X, when it's Northeast Florida, that is tomorrow night, 8:15 on that one. And yes, again, as we said, it's Turkey Month here. A lot of stuff that has happened here in the last 24 hours. There was obviously the reclassification stuff with the FHSAA that we'll talk about. There was also a state Senate hearing today as well involving stuff about dealing with some of the open enrollment stuff, the transfer stuff that's going on that's impacting high school athletics, especially on the football side. I know it's also impacting some other sports as well, but the football side, we definitely see that a lot. And then also coaches' pay as well. So there was, some stuff there that was brought up. And, again, here we are. This is week 12. Normally most years we would be getting ready for playoffs this week. Not the case. This is the universal bye week. It was reserved for, teams that, needed to be able to make up games due to the hurricanes. Well, we can officially do it. The regular season.
Yep.
We were not impacted by one single hurricane this year. How did we get off lucky? How did we get off that lucky? I don't know.
We still needed this bye week. Yeah.
Still, we needed this bye week. we still needed this bye week for a few games. Obviously, Mother Nature had some impacts on the other side with some storms and stuff. Obviously, there's a few makeup games going on, but the amount of makeup games happening from between last night and tonight, just a handful, not very much.
Yeah,
we can
count. You can count on two hands.
Yeah, we can definitely count those numbers on two hands, and honestly, it's a welcome sigh of relief. Welcome sigh of relief. Now, hopefully with obviously the FHSAA real quick voting for the option A, 6+1 plus 6+ rural, that universal week 12 will actually be kept in place, because if they had gone the option B, we would have been in a situation where that would probably not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
we'll talk more about that on the shows later tonight. All right, Chris, let's take a 2-minute timeout here, and then we'll come back and we'll have Coach Sanders from Palmetto join us here on the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz to talk about the Tigers, who are 9-1 district champs, and we'll find out what seeding they will get in 7A Region 3, or 6A Region 3, excuse me, come Thursday afternoon. We'll be right back here on the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloydHSFootball.com and the FloydHSFootball.com social media handles.
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought, if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, there's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Get ready for the 2026 Coach of the Year Clinics. This February and March, see top collegiate coaches, learn from the best, and take your program to the next level. Don't miss America's most respected coaching clinics.
All right, welcome back here to the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz here. By the way, I made a mistake earlier. It was Riverview that beat Manatee. So Manatee's actually under 500, by the way, Chris. So that a little bit of surprise there. But as we roll into this, we want to welcome the head coach of the 9-1 Palmetto Tigers, who are going to be heading to the playoffs as a district champion this season. Coach Eric Sanders. Coach, appreciate you being able to take a few minutes of your time. I know it's a little bit weird not getting ready for a game this week because the playoffs start next week. But Coach, first, congratulations on your team winning the district championship this year and everything. Just talk about, this team coming in this year, just the energy that your team came into the season, and now to finish up here, getting ready for postseason play. What has it been like this year going through the season for y'all?
First of all, thanks for having me. But this team, we started way back in December of last year. We had an early exit last year in the playoffs after a pretty good regular season. So we had a little hunger and kind of a chip on our shoulder starting back in last December. Had a great spring, played a quality spring opponent in CCC, carried that momentum into the summer. And then, we've been rolling for most of the year. I thought we kind of started really clicking and humming after the rain delay at Riverview where we actually lost that game, but we really fought back in that game to make it a game, and we almost had a chance to win that. And then we've kind of been rolling ever since. So our team's excited for the playoffs. We're happy that the regular season's over and we can kind of turn the page and kind of start this new season. This bye week actually kind of helps us because we've got a couple guys dinged up, so we're getting that recovery this week. So we'll be ready to go next week.
No, absolutely here. And that's huge and beneficial for y'all in terms of having this extra week, obviously, to get ready here and all that. And with that said here, and now coach, when you look at this team, you look at everything, but, y'all were in a district that was interesting yet because, y'all saw a district that had, much improvements. I mean, obviously you got Parrish in that district. You've got Leonard in that district. I mean, talk about the challenges of getting ready for teams. Y'all are most likely your district's going to take 3 teams out into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I think it's a well-rounded district. Oh shoot. Did I lose you?
No, you're good. You're still here.
It's a well-rounded district with 2 good teams outside of us with Leonard and Parrish. And we got Parrish earlier in the season, week 4. And we played one of our best games all season that game. And then we got Leonard late after everything's kind of played out, and we knew we win the district outright. If we had lost, it was going to be a 3-way tie, and who knows what would happen after that. So, we were fortunate enough to play really well in both of those games, and we kind of handled them both in the second half. Those are 2 quality teams, though, well deserved to be in the playoffs. We'll see how the seeding shakes out. I don't think anybody knows exactly how it's going to fall 1 through 8. I think we have a pretty good idea, but we don't know exactly. So whoever we draw, I think our district's going to be well represented.
No, absolutely.
So your offense is led by Michael Hennessy, a quarterback, a junior. You have 3. Most of your offense is run by juniors, by the underclassmen. Talk about the underclassmen and what that means to your program going forward.
Yeah, we start 9 underclassmen on offense, and the skill group is mainly underclassmen, and fortunately, most of them have experience. A lot of them played as sophomores, so they might be young in age, but they're not young with experience. Matthew Hennessy, our quarterback, this is his first year starting as a varsity player, but he is a very mature, even-keeled quarterback that nothing really rattles him. And he doesn't get too high or too low. So he can handle basically any situation that we've thrown him into and any sort of pressure situation that we've thrown him into. So we have the utmost confidence in these guys, whether they're just because they're juniors, that they've gotten a lot of experience and they're pretty mature as far as handling themselves on the field.
I was going to bring up Matthew doing what he's done. 25 touchdowns, over 1,700 yards passing. That's pretty solid for a junior coming out starting as a junior. Looking at some of the other guys, I mean, obviously y'all got 2 guys that are over 600 yards receiving, both 9 touchdowns each. Which again, that shows what Matt has done on the field, basically. Talk about these guys here that have contributed, because obviously, as we know, football is a team sport. There's no I in football and team.
Right. We're fortunate enough to be able to spread the ball around. We've got skilled players at 3 different positions on the outside, Jock, Mo, and Nas. And then we have, 3 running backs that have played really well as well. So we try to be as balanced as possible. We're a big 11 personnel team, so we try to be balanced as possible with run and pass and mixing in some RPO stuff and take shots whenever we need to take them. So all those guys have been contributing very well. Our tight end, Ace Luther, who we actually just lost, but he was a huge player for us all season long as well, just to keep control the middle of the field and keep teams honest. So all those guys have had great years, and they're all underclassmen, which is great for the future, but we're not trying to look too far ahead right now. We're trying to take care of business right now and finish this season strong.
And absolutely. And I want to talk about the defensive side of the ball, because I like the stats that y'all have put up here. 24 sacks here, 88 tackles for loss. So you mean y'all get after the ball carrier, whoever's got the ball, you'll go after them and you get after, and creating those tackles for loss in those situations against opposing offenses, and of course 7 interceptions on defense as well. Talk about the overall effort of the defense, because it's not just the line and the linebackers; it's also the secondary doing their job as well.
Yeah, the best thing I can say about our defense is how hard they play. All 11 guys out on the field, every single play has to the ball. We're swarming, being aggressive. So, the best thing about our team, offense, defense, and special teams, how balanced we are right now, and they're all kind of complementing each other. We got a front four on defense that'll get after our quarterback. We got linebackers that can stop the run, and we got corners that can stop the pass. So everything's kind of balanced right now, which is kind of how you want it. You don't want to be one-sided one way or the other. You want everything kind of working together, and right now we are. Hopefully we can keep this thing going.
No, absolutely here. And with that said, Coach, let's talk about some of the, what the dynamics of the the rivalries. I mean, obviously, your biggest rival is Manatee on the other side of the river. Talk about the football in Manatee County, and especially the rivalry that y'all have with Manatee. Y'all are the two oldest programs in that county. I mean, y'all there's a lot of tradition, a lot of history. Just talk about that in the game. The fan atmosphere that's been like for you. It's been
so it was my first time playing Manatee at Palmetto. Last year was my first year at Palmetto. We went to Manatee, and then this year was my first time experiencing it at Palmetto, and it's awesome. I mean, it's not just Friday; it's all week. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's all sorts of build up to the game. School spirit. We have our SGAs making shirts. There's interviews all over campus as far as interviewing the players, interviewing the coaches about what we got to do to win that game. You got obviously the community and everybody coming in for the game. It was a huge crowd. It's awesome. I think it's really cool for high school players to kind of experience those rivalries. I don't think every school gets to experience something like that, and I think that's really cool. Hopefully that continues for a long, long time, which I think it will. I mean, obviously Manatee is a very good program. It has accomplished a lot. Palmetto is a very good program. We've accomplished a lot. So I hope we continue to have that nice competitive rivalry. Nothing got out of hand this year as well. Like, we just played football and both teams competed their tails off. But all the camaraderie and all the build up throughout the whole week was awesome for the whole school and the whole community.
Yeah, not to mention with the playoff coming up, you got to be interested. It's going to be interesting to see where you guys are seated, because you're in that same bracket with West Boca Raton, the defending the champions. When you look at the bracket, the potential bracket, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, we'll see where the seedings play out. I think last week we were 18 in the state, and then next was West Boca 58, and then I think Paris was at 62. But things flux and change from week to week, and we know they're the defending champs. So whatever seed we get, we'll line up and play. Obviously, you hope you get the top seed, but we'll see how that shakes out. And until somebody beats West Boca Raton, they're the champs until somebody beat them. So hopefully we get the top seed, but if not, we're still going to line up and play and give it all we got. So we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna do a little picking of your brain. I know as I learned too, you probably heard me talking about it. The stuff that happened yesterday with the FHSAA with the reclassification stuff that's going to come down. What is your take on this with them going the option A, shrinking by a classification, and just still kind of keeping status quo with using enrollment?
Yeah, I think it's good to keep the districts. That gives people something to play for during the regular season, and you got some big games that come out when during the regular season that have huge implications as far as district championships and playoff implications. So that's cool. And I think it'll be good to have a little bit bigger districts. Maybe get 5 and 16 districts. I think that'll be a good thing. So I'm not sure exactly what they decided with that open division, or if that's still in the works.
It's still in the works. I can tell you that right now. That's still in the works.
Okay. I think that is cool. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, whether it's 16 teams, but having the top 60 teams in the state play for their own title, I think there'd be some incredible matchups there. So I think what they've done is great. Shrinking the class by 1 and increasing the district size is good. Keeping the district championships is good. And keeping those, big games during the regular season still viable, where have a lot of implications as far as winning district championships and playoff implications. I think that's cool for having kids to play for during the regular season.
No, absolutely here. And with that said here, and again, it's going to be exciting. And of course, no game this week for anybody in the state if outside of the makeup games that are left tonight. But I mean, I almost want to say it's almost for a foregone conclusion that Palmetto will be at home come next Friday night for the playoffs. That'll be definitely guaranteed there. I think I mean, something crazy would have to happen with the seating for them to not have a home game next week. That's my opinion on that one here. But again, Palmetto, how about this? 9-1 on the season, district champs in 6A, District 11. And Coach, one of the other things, real quick here. Yep. Y'all scored 377 points, only giving up 104 points. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, like I said, the best thing about our team right now is I feel like all three phases of the game are kind of working together and complementing each other. And that's kind of how you want it. You don't want it to be one-sided or offenses, cranking up, but our defense is struggling, or vice versa, where, you're only scoring 10 points a game, but our defense is stout and only giving up 7. You kind of want everything working together. So I hope we can continue that. We got an outstanding special teams. Our kicker is outstanding. Our return games are very good. So if we can continue to complement each other, offense, defense, special teams, I like where we're at. I mean, obviously you got to line it up and play and win it on the field. But if we can continue to play how we're playing, I like where we're at right now.
No, absolutely. And Coach, again, congratulations on the district championship winning season, and best of luck here in the postseason. And we'll see what Thursday afternoon brings for everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. You take care. Have a good one, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. That was head coach Eric Sanders of the Palmetto Tigers joining us here on the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz. And boy, Palmetto, they worked hard and they earned it in a district that we know we have talked about on the Drive the State here for several weeks now. That we've watched it pretty much all season. That it's going to be 3 teams going most likely out of that 6A District 11 out of that district.
It's interesting looking at Palmetto this year. Now, they're in a very similar situation as West Boca was last year, flying under the radar. Got a lot of underclassmen.
No,
so
absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do compared to what West Boca did last year.
No, absolutely here. All right, so we're going to take a 2-minute timeout, come back and wrap up the show. We'll talk a couple minutes on the stuff they get to kind of set the table for coming up here on the next the next show, which is the Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz, coming up here at 8:15. But we'll kind of set the table of what we're going to talk about rest of the night, because we don't have any more interviews for the rest of the shows tonight. But we'll talk about again everything that's happening here. So we'll be right back here on the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloydHSFootball.com and the FloydHSFootball.com social media handles.
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought, if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, it's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Get ready for the 2026 Coach of the Year Clinics. This February and March, see top collegiate coaches, learn from the best, and take your program to the next level. Don't miss America's most respected coaching clinics.
right, welcome back here to the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz here on FortHSFootball.com and the FortHSFootball.com social media handles here. As we wrap up the show here and everything, no pick six this week, but I know there's a few games in the SSA the playoffs, but outside of that, really nothing big to note here because not really any much.
There's a couple games going on right now, and very interesting scores.
No, absolutely.
O'Galley and Merritt Island are tied 14-14 in the second.
And last I looked, and I'm trying to see if there's been an update here. Right now, Fleming Island's up 10-3 on Beachside in the 5A3 game. So that situation is if Beachside wins that game, they're district champs. If Fleming Island wins that game, Ponte Vedra will be district champs. Fleming Island has no chance of winning the district in this situation, regardless of the outcome, but they can impact who gets the district title and who doesn't.
Yeah, and the land also is
they're district champs
over Spruce Creek.
Yep, 42-0 final there, and Marcellus Carey for DeLand had 4 touchdowns in that game. Holy cow! Per Central Florida Preps. And DeLand will be one of the few teams entering the playoffs with a perfect 10-0, 1-0. There we go. Or, yeah, do I have it right? No, let me do it this way. There we go.
Yeah, right.
I had it right. Yeah, 10-0. 10 wins. There you go. But yes, to kind of set the table real quick, we'll go ahead and do this here. We'll bring this up here on the screen here. That way y'all can see it here as well. But Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Central time, we will have the Blitz Drive the State edition with the FHA playoff bracket reveal and breakdown show starting again at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday. When we come on, we are going to reveal our projections of what we think the brackets will look like before the FHA comes on at noon with their live stream. We will bring that live stream into our show here. We will watch it. We will be like, are we right? Not right. I'm maybe figure out a way to bring up on the screen as we do it with our prediction. We may what we do with our ticker is run those predictions on the ticker. That way y'all can see that as who we think will be the 1 seed, 2 seed, all the way through 8 for each region. But we'll bring it up on the screen too. Before we do that, we'll bring up on our projected bracket's going to be why we feel that way, so and so. But noontime, that's when they'll start releasing the brackets. And I suspect that Chris said they'll do it the same way. They'll go start with rural, and then they'll go up to 7A.
Yeah, that's what they did. I think for the volleyball, they started.
Yeah, so I expect that. Then we're gonna have some good guests on. We're gonna have some great guests on. We're gonna have Larry Bluestein. We're gonna have Alan Sauter-Sinksy from Brevard Sports Network. We're gonna have Charles Jones from Central Florida Preps. We're gonna have Irish Bill from Irish Bill Sports. There's Mike Rideout from Main Street Daily News. I may try to see if I can get Bob Putnam to join in from the Tampa Bay newspapers as well. We're just going to be a who's kind of situation of who's will bring people in and out during between. And once they get that, I expect them to probably take about 30 to 40 minutes to get all the brackets out. Suspecting that it'll be about the time frame, and then we'll do that, and then 2:00 we will come back in, Chris, and they'll reveal the FIT brackets, and that'll be interesting to watch there and see. And then we'll finish up probably around, because that won't take us long to do the FIT brackets, but we'll kind of do some other stuff after that, and then we'll kind of wrap it up around 3:30, and then I'm going off the grid for a few days after that. I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break for a few days, to say the least. But we're gonna our show number 7 for the Drive the State edition of the Blitz. That'll be sitting there Thursday, November 6th here, and we'll have all the playoff stuff and everything for y'all on Thursday. So we're definitely excited about that coming up here. And yes, Emory, it will be interesting what the final rankings look like. There's no telling because of how wacky and crazy they are. You're absolutely right. But that's one thing they did not address. They said they'll come back and address it later in the FHA board meeting, but we'll talk more about that.
That was a big discussion today.
Big discussion, and it's going to be a big discussion, and I'll address something else that was dealing with that as well coming up here in just a few minutes here. And real quick, we'll have more updates here, but Fleming Island and Beachside are now tied 10-10 at the half. So that is going to be interesting to see how 5A3 shapes out here. And Chris, also real quick, 2A14, we don't have a district champ because there's a three-way tie sitting there at one. Each of the three teams that are sitting there 1-1, but I feel like Carroll City's going to end up winning that district now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tonight and what happens with those three teams.
Absolutely. All right, it is time to wrap up this edition of the Southwest Florida edition of the Blitz here. We'll be back here in just a few minutes for the Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz here on FloorHSFootball.com and the FloorHSFootball.com social media handles.